Old money family rejects. Black bride, Elena, 24, from Southern California. The San Diego skyline burned with coral and gold as the sun melted into the Pacific, its light dancing on the waves below Elena Carter's downtown loft. At 24, Elena stood on her balcony, the breeze weaving jasmine and sea salt through her braided hair, her silhouette sharp against the city's glow. A software engineer at Tech Waves, a fintech startup, she was Iron Elena to her colleagues, her code a fortress, her calm a shield during launches that could shift millions. Her loft, with its polished oak floors, minimalist furniture, and floor-to-ceiling windows, overlooked the Gaslamp Quarter, a world away from the National City apartment where she'd grown up, the air thick with fried plantains, her grandmother's gospel records spinning on a scratched turntable. Elena's childhood was a crucible of grit and dreams. Her parents, Grace and Malcolm, were a nurse and a bus driver, their hands rough from relentless shifts. Their one-bedroom home pulsed with the hum of Grace's sewing machine and the clink of Malcolm's toolbox, the walls so thin they carried neighbors' laughter, arguments, and late-night salsa. Elena wore hand-me-downs, her sneakers patched with tape, but her mind was a spark. At 7, she'd perch on the linoleum floor, dismantling Malcolm's broken radio, her small fingers piecing it back together by candlelight when the power flickered. "Our little genius," Grace would say, her weary eyes hiding the strain of bills piling up like driftwood. Malcolm, wiping grease from his hands, would add, "You'll build something big, baby girl," his voice a quiet prophecy. School was Elena's refuge, a place where her hunger for knowledge shone. She devoured math and science, her teachers stunned by her knack for untangling complex algorithms. At 13, she taught herself Python, building apps for local churches to save for a used laptop, its keys worn from her relentless coding. Her parents skipped meals to keep the internet on, their pride a silent fire. "You'll make it, Maya," Grace whispered, stitching late into the night. High school was a blur of sleepless nights, juggling AP classes and part-time jobs at a taco stand, her hands reeking of cilantro, her dreams pinned to a UC San Diego scholarship. She won it, but college was no reprieve-cramped dorms, ramen dinners, coding under dim lights, while peers partied in La Jolla mansions. By graduation, her financial literacy app, designed to empower small businesses, caught Tech Waves' eye, landing her a job that reshaped her life. Now, Elena's office buzzed with monitors, post-it notes, and the hum of ambition, her name etched on patents. She was a star in San Diego's tech scene, her app poised to revolutionize personal finance. But success was a lonely summit. She'd dated a poet who called her too driven, a banker who sneered, "No one wants a tech mogul girlfriend." Each rejection carved a deeper doubt, leaving her wondering if her ambition was a wall no one could scale. Late nights, scrolling rescue dog adoption sites, she dreamed of a partner who'd sit with her in silence, their presence a quiet home for her restless heart. At a Mission Beach tech mixer, the air heavy with craft beer and startup buzz, Elena met Nathan Brooks, a graphic designer in a linen shirt. His brown eyes twinkled with wit as he approached her. She was fiddling with a buggy demo app, her brow furrowed. "You're debugging that like it's a personal vendetta," he teased, his voice warm. Elena's laugh broke free, a rare crack in her armor. They talked until the bar emptied her passion for clean code, his love for bold visuals, their shared obsession with golden retrievers. Nathan didn't blink when she mentioned her six-figure salary or TechWave's IPO rumors. The next day, he emailed a digital sketch of a golden retriever, its tongue lolling, for when the servers crash. Their romance was a slow, steady bloom, not a wildfire. Nathan showed up with empanadas during her coding marathons, left doodles of her typing on her fridge, and listened when she vented about investor pressure. His dry humor softened her edges, his steadiness a counterpoint to her drive. He'd text her memes when she was stressed, once mailing a tiny plush golden retriever with a note, "For when the boardroom sucks." On a foggy evening at La Jolla Cove, seals barking below, he knelt with a simple silver ring. "I'm not scared of your fire, Elena," he said. "I want to be your home." Her chest tightened, her yes a whisper carried by the tide. They planned a wedding at a historic Coronado garden, the ocean's rhythm a gentle backdrop. Nathan's parents, Clara and Henry, welcomed Elena with open arms, gifting her a hand-carved wooden box etched with waves. "Our son found a star," Clara beamed, her hug scented with rosemary. Henry, a retired carpenter, shared stories of crafting furniture for their oceanside home. His pride in Nathan's art, a quiet echo of Malcolm's. Elena felt anchored, her ambition tempered by love, her National City roots intertwined with Nathan's coastal warmth. But Nathan's extended family, the Warrens, were San Diego's old-money elite real estate tycoons with sprawling estates in Del Mar, their wealth whispered in trust funds, yacht clubs, and art foundations. When Elena met them at their mansion, its marble floors gleaming under chandeliers, the air was thick with judgment. Vivian Warren, Nathan's aunt, greeted her with a tight smile, her eyes scanning Elena's silk dress like an auditor tallying flaws. Richard, his uncle, offered a handshake too firm, his gaze lingering on her braided hair, assessing her blackness as if it were a ledger entry. Over a dinner of seared scallops and crisp wine, Vivian's remarks cut subtly. "You must feel out of place in Nathan's world, dear. It's a different rhythm." Richard questioned her fit with their legacy, his tone implying her National City roots were a stain on their polished name. Their prejudice wasn't overt, but surgical, wrapped in the velvet of etiquette. Nathan squeezed her hand under the table, his jaw tight, but Elena felt the weight of their rejection, her skin a silent barrier in their manicured world. The wedding planning intensified the Warrens' disapproval. The Coronado venue was mysteriously double-booked, the coordinator avoiding Elena's eyes, her apologies hollow. Nathan's cousin, Lila, muttered at a family brunch. "People like her often have baggage," her words meant to be overheard, slicing through the clink of champagne flutes. Vivian suggested a manageable guest list, implying Elena's family, her grandmother Ruth, a retired librarian with a voice like gospel, her aunts, cousins, and church friends wouldn't fit their image of refinement. Richard withdrew funding for the wedding, citing concerns about alignment with our values. A letter from Vivian, slipped under Elena's hotel door during a planning trip, read in sharp cursive, "Dear, we raised Nathan for a certain life. You're beneath it. Choose wisely." Elena stood over the hotel sink, the letter curling into ash under a match, her resolve hardening like steel forged in fire. She and Nathan pivoted, refusing to let the Warrens' prejudice define their day. They funded a new venue, a vibrant garden in Balboa Park, using Elena's savings and Nathan's freelance income, selling a vintage watch Henry had given him to cover deposits. They slashed the guest list, inviting Elena's family, her Tech Waves colleagues, and Nathan's supportive friends, cutting out the Warrens' socialite allies. Ruth promised to sing at the ceremony, her rendition of Amazing Grace a beacon of pride for Elena. Nathan's parents, Clara and Henry, offered to host a rehearsal dinner at their oceanside home, their warmth a stark contrast to the Warrens' icy disdain. But the real test loomed, the wedding day, where love would face prejudice head-on and Elena's quiet plan would unfold. Elena's counterstrike began in the shadows, her pain fueling a strategy as precise as her code. She documented every financial contribution, $100,000 for the original Coronado venue deposit, lost to the double booking, and $50,000 for Warren family debts she'd covered after Nathan's plea, believing it was for their shared future. He'd confessed their financial strain, claiming it was a one-time ask to secure their legacy, and Elena, trusting his love, had wired the funds, her savings dwindling like sand through her fingers. With her friend and attorney, Maya, a fierce advocate from a women's legal network, she secured a lien on a Warren-owned rental property Nathan had co-signed, framing it as a wedding gift trust to gain his signature. Maya's office, tucked in a Little Italy courtyard, smelled of espresso and ink, its walls lined with books on contract law. "They'll regret underestimating you," Maya said, her pen moving like a scalpel. Elena also recorded Lila's racist remarks at the brunch, captured on her phone's voice memo, and kept Vivian's burned letters' ashes in a jar, a reminder of their malice. At Tech Waves, Elena channeled her rage into a gala to showcase her financial literacy app, set to draw San Diego's tech elite and secure funding for a global rollout. Her colleague, Tessa, a marketing strategist with a knack for bold campaigns, introduced her to Marcus Tate, a venture capitalist with piercing green eyes and a reputation for sharp deals. They met at a Little Italy cafe, the air warm with espresso and the clatter of plates. Marcus's charisma was electric, his tailored blazer accentuating his lean frame, but his guarded demeanor sparked caution. "Your app's a game changer," he said, his gaze intense. "You're a visionary, Elena." Her pulse quickened, but she sensed shadows in his promises, her instincts honed by the Warrens' betrayal. The gala, held in a glittering gas lamp quarter ballroom, was a spectacle, chandeliers casting golden light, jazz drifting like smoke, the ocean's hum faint through open windows. Elena, in a sleek emerald gown, presented her app to a rapt audience, her slides showcasing AI-driven tools that empowered users to budget with precision. Her voice was steady, though her heart churned with the weight of the Warrens' rejection. As Marcus joined her on stage to announce a potential partnership, a second Marcus appeared identical, down to the tailored charcoal suit, one smirking, the other serious. Gasps rippled through the crowd, investors murmuring, their champagne flutes paused mid-sip. Both claimed to be Marcus Tate, vying to fund TechWave's next phase. Elena's heart thundered, the ballroom tilting under her feet. The crowd's eyes bored into her, their curiosity tinged with skepticism. She demanded proof, her voice slicing through the tension like a blade. The serious Marcus stepped forward, his green eyes locking onto hers. "We spoke at the cafe," he said, his voice low but clear. "You said you code to empower people, not to impress them. You mentioned your grandmother's gospel records, how they kept you grounded." His sincerity pierced her defenses, anchoring her in the chaos. The smirking Marcus faltered, offering vague flattery. "You're brilliant, Elena. Everyone knows it," that rang hollow under her scrutiny. His smirk wavered, his eyes darting to the exits. Before Elena could make a final call, security intervened, escorting the imposter out amid murmurs from the crowd. Later, in a private room overlooking the ocean's restless waves, the imposter revealed himself as Ethan, Marcus's twin, presumed dead after a kidnapping in his teens. The room's mahogany walls and plush velvet chairs contrasted with Ethan's raw intensity, his scarred knuckles trembling as he spoke. "Marcus is funneling tech funds to offshore scams tied to money laundering," he said, his voice rough with years of buried pain. "I infiltrated the gala to expose him, to protect you and TechWaves from his schemes." His eyes, tortured yet earnest, held a vulnerability that stirred Elena. But trust was a minefield after the Warrens' betrayal. "Why me?" she asked, her voice steady but her hands clenched. "Because I saw you," Ethan said. "Your strength, your heart. I couldn't let him ruin you." She thanked him, her tone neutral, and refocused on her plan. Her mind a chessboard of calculated moves. The wedding day dawned at Balboa Park, the garden transformed into a vibrant celebration of Elena's Black heritage. A gospel choir sang beneath a floral arch, their harmonies soaring like a prayer. Food trucks lined the paths, serving soul food, injera, jerk chicken, and vegan curry bowls, the air rich with spices and laughter. Guests filled the lawn, men in kente cloth and tailored suits, women in bold dresses, children weaving through chairs with flower crowns. Elena arrived in a stunning gown by a Black designer from Los Angeles, its sleek lines and vibrant beadwork a defiance of the Warrens' dainty lace expectations. Her bouquet was wild, untamed, like her spirit. Nathan stood at the altar, his navy suit accented with an African-patterned tie, a nod to Elena's roots, his smile steady with pride. The Warrens arrived, stepping out of a black SUV, expecting a traditional affair of white linens and string quartets. Their faces twisted in confusion, then horror at the joyous scene. Vivian hissed under her breath, "This isn't what we agreed to." Richard's jaw clenched, his tailored coat stiff as his pride. Elena smiled, taking Richard's arm not to be walked down the aisle, but to deliver a quiet ultimatum. "You're welcome to stay if you respect us. This day belongs to us. Not your name, not your image." Her voice was gentle but firm, her eyes unyielding. The Warrens took their seats, rigid, surrounded by a love they didn't recognize. The ceremony, led by Ruth, was a rebellion of unity and truth. Her gospel rendition of Amazing Grace brought tears to the crowd, her voice a bridge between Elena's past and future. Nathan's vows cut through the air like a blade. "You, the Warrens," said Elena, wasn't enough. "Not our name, not our skin. Your obstacles forged us stronger. I vow to love her without permission, to build a legacy rooted in truth, not wealth." The crowd murmured, some clutching hands over hearts, others wiping tears. Elena stepped forward, her voice clear and unshaking. "I was taught legacy is status, wealth, a name carved in marble. Nathan taught me it's what you build, what you give." She paused, locking eyes with Vivian, who looked away, then continued, I've donated my $500,000 Tech Waves bonus to the Carter Foundation, named for my parents, to fund scholarships for black coders. If this world won't give them a seat, they'll code their own table. The crowd erupted, a thunderous ovation rising like a tidal wave. Ruth's tears shone. Grace and Malcolm clasped hands, their pride a quiet fire. Clara and Henry stood, clapping, their smiles wide. The Warrens sat silent, their faces flushed with shock and wounded pride, their influence eclipsed by a love they couldn't control. Vivian's pearl necklace seemed to choke her, Richard's hands trembling as he realized their power had crumbled. Some of their elite allies slipped away, their heels clicking on the stone path like a retreating army, but most guests stayed, drawn to the raw truth of the moment. It wasn't just a wedding, it was a reckoning, a declaration, a rebirth of what it meant to love and rise. Elena's actions sent shockwaves through her world, their consequences unfolding like ripples on the Pacific. She prepared for an annulment if Nathan wavered, her trust bruised by his initial silence during the Warrens' Prejudice. But Nathan proved his loyalty, severing ties with Vivian and Richard, choosing Elena over their legacy. He moved into her Coronado condo, their nights filled with quiet talks and Luna's gentle snores, their love fortified by the fire they'd faced. Maya enforced the lien on the Warren property, seizing a Del Mar rental when they defaulted on the $50,000 debt Elena had covered. The sale netted a $60,000 profit, which Elena funneled into Tech Waves, boosting her app's AI features and pushing its valuation to $30 million. Tech blogs hailed her as a visionary, her story of resilience a beacon for women in tech, especially black women from places like National City. The Warrens' empire cracked under the weight of their humiliation. Vivian and Richard, once fixtures at Del Mar galas, retreated from social circles, their allies distancing themselves like ships fleeing a storm. Lila's racist remarks, leaked anonymously to a tech news site, cost her a PR job at a downtown firm. Her apology tour ignored by a community that valued accountability over tears. The Carter Foundation became a lifeline, funding dozens of black coders, including Anna, a 19-year-old from Chula Vista whose budgeting app echoed Elena's early work. Elena mentored Anna in Python and pitch strategy, their late-night sessions at TechWave's office glowing with monitor light. You're not just coding, Elena told her, passing a coffee. You're building a future. Anna's shy smile mirrored Elena's teenage hunger, a spark Elena vowed to nurture. Anna's app launched, gaining traction with local nonprofits, and Elena beamed at her protege's first investor pitch, seeing her own journey reflected. Elena's chosen family, Tessa's children, Jamal and Niaz, filled her Coronado condo with warmth, their crayons a colorful chaos on her oak table. Niaz, 9, clung to Elena, her questions about her absent father. Why do people leave, Tia Elena, echoing the pain of betrayal? One evening, as they baked cookies, the air sweet with vanilla, Niaz confessed, I'm scared Daddy won't come back. Elena knelt, brushing a braid from Nia's face. You don't need him to be whole, she said. You've got you, and you've got us. Niaz hugged her, her small arms tight, and Elena felt a healing she hadn't known she needed. Jamal, 12, challenged her to coding games, his laughter a reminder of chosen bonds that outshone blood. Lila, Nathan's cousin, appeared at TechWaves months later, haggard, her designer bag scuffed. I was wrong, she choked, tears streaking her face. I didn't see you, Elena. I'm sorry. Elena, in a blazer, Luna at her feet, met her gaze with measured calm. Words aren't enough, she said. Prove it with actions. She allowed Lila to volunteer at the Carter Foundation, sorting scholarship applications, a test of sincerity over privilege. Lila's early efforts were clumsy, but she showed up. Her apologies quiet but consistent, a thread Elena monitored without fully trusting. Marcus's downfall was another seismic ripple, shaking San Diego's tech scene. Ethan's leaks, detailing Marcus's offshore scams tied to money laundering, hit the press in a San Diego Tech Chronicle expose, tanking Voss Capital overnight. Investors fled, boardroom allies scattered, and the gala's twin deception became tech folklore. Marcus confronted Elena at a conference in the Manchester Grand Hyatt, the ballroom overlooking the bay, its waters glinting under moonlight. His tailored suit hung loose, his green eyes bloodshot, his charm replaced by desperation. You and Ethan ruined me, he snarled, his voice low to avoid eavesdroppers. Elena, in a navy dress, stood tall, her presence commanding. "You ruined yourself," she said, her voice cutting like glass. "I chose truth. You chose lies." The crowd hushed, sensing the tension, their eyes darting to the drama. Marcus's jaw clenched, his hands balling into fists, but he didn't advance. Ethan, at the bar, watched, his scarred hands gripping a glass, ready to step in. Marcus turned, shoving through the crowd, his exit a silent defeat. Ethan's role in the aftermath was quieter, a slow burn that challenged Elena's guarded heart. He emailed her. "I meant it. I wanted to protect you. If you want to talk, I'm here." Attached was a digital sketch of Luna, her tongue lolling, a nod to their shared love. Elena hesitated, her trust battered by the Warrens and wary of Marcus's shadow. But Ethan's vulnerability, his scars, his story of years lost to captors, lingered. They met at a Coronado dog park, Luna bounding between them, the ocean breeze carrying salt and possibility. Ethan shared fragments of his past, kidnapped at 16 during a family trip, held in a desert compound, escaping only to find Marcus had claimed his identity. "I didn't want you to be another casualty," he said, his voice rough. "But I fell for you, Elena. That wasn't planned." Her heart stirred, a flicker she wasn't ready to name. "I need time," she said, her eyes meeting his. "Trust is hard now." Ethan nodded, his smile soft. "I'll wait, if you choose me." He left a note in her mailbox, a sketch of Luna with, "For when trust feels far." Elena tucked it into her desk, not committing, but leaving the door ajar. Over months, Ethan respected her boundaries, sending texts about Luna or tech trends, his presence a steady hum. They ran into each other at a Little Italy cafe, the air warm with espresso. He was reading a cybersecurity book, his scarred hands gentle on the pages. "You're still fighting," Elena said, nodding at the book. Ethan smiled, his eyes crinkling. "So are you." The moment felt like a bridge, small but solid, a possibility she'd explore when ready. Nathan, aware of Ethan's gestures, supported her pace, his trust in her a quiet strength. "You choose your path," he said one night, Luna curled between them. "I'm here, no matter what." The Warrens' rejection continued to echo, their influence waning as San Diego's elite distanced themselves. Vivian, once a Del Mar socialite, canceled her annual gala, her invitations unanswered. Richard's real estate deals faltered, investors wary of his tarnished name. The tech community, rocked by Marcus's downfall, embraced Elena as a beacon of integrity, her app a symbol of empowerment. She spoke at conferences, her story inspiring Black women in tech, her National City roots a badge of honor. The Carter Foundation partnered with nonprofits, teaching financial literacy in underserved communities, a legacy echoing Grace and Malcolm's sacrifices. Elena's bond with Jamal and Nia's deepened, their weekend hikes in Torrey Pines a ritual of healing. Nia's drawings, taped to Elena's fridge, depicted Luna, Elena, and a bright sun, a child's vision of hope. When Nia saw Nathan at the dog park, her eyes widened, sensing his tie to Elena's past. "Is he a bad guy?" she whispered, her crayons paused. Elena sighed, choosing honesty. "He made tough choices, but he's with me now. We don't hate, we grow." Nia's nodded, her small hand in Elena's, a lesson in resilience taking root. Nathan's efforts to rebuild family ties were cautious, his parents a bridge to healing. Clara hosted dinners, her rosemary-scented kitchen, a haven where Elena and Nathan laughed over old photos. Henry, carving a new box for Elena, said, "You're our daughter now." The Warrens remained distant, their silence a wound Nathan mourned but didn't chase. "They lost us," he told Elena, his hand in hers. "You're my family." Elena's professional triumph soared. TechWaves' app, enhanced with predictive AI, reached millions, its user base spanning single parents to startups. Anna's app gained traction, her pitch to investors a triumph Elena celebrated with coffee and tears. The foundation funded scholarships, its first cohort including a coder from National City, her eyes hungry like Elena's once were. On her Coronado balcony, the ocean a silver ribbon under the stars. Elena sipped coffee, Luna snoring at her feet. The city hummed below, its lights a constellation of her victory. Jamal and Naya's giggles echoed inside, their drawings a testament to chosen family. Nathan was her partner, the Warrens a lesson, Marcus a warning, Ethan a possibility. I'm no one's pawn, she whispered to the stars. I'm the architect of my empire. Her story wasn't revenge, it was reclamation, a life forged in fire, hers alone.